My name is Sara Cruz. I am from the Philippines. I am a government lawyer. So what brought me here is after 18 years of legal practice and public policy work, I thought that it was time to take a reflective pause and take some time to focus on an issue or a topic which I have been interested in for the past few years, which is human rights reform and the investment treaty system, which is the topic of my fellowship study. In my application, I said that I will be producing a policy paper on human rights reform and the investment treaty system. So most of my activities were primarily geared towards that, to producing that at the end of the fellowship, because my intention is also to introduce that to stakeholders in the Philippines, particularly in the Philippine government. So in the hopes that there will be reforms in the investment treaty system in the Philippines, particularly with respect to human rights. So the activities I carried out, a lot of research, a lot of writing. Since the topic of my fellowship study is in the intersection of public policy, which is the primary focus at the STG and law, I had to engage with a lot of law researchers, so I was able to do that. So in fact, for my paper presentation, it was a joint event sponsored by the PLF program of the STG, as well as the International Economic Law and Policy Working Group from the Law Department. So mostly that's how I dealt with it, and it also gave me the opportunity, being here, to interact with other researchers, not just from EUI, but through the researchers in the law department. I was introduced to this network of researchers doing research on similar topics, basically about international investment law and international human rights law. I would say it's a unique, diverse experience. It's very multicultural and multidisciplinary, I would say. Something that I wouldn't have been able to do if I didn't go here and if I just focus on work, for example. As a government lawyer and as a representative of the Philippine government to Unsachal Working Group 3, I dealt mostly with lawyers. So although I've doing public policy work, it's mostly concentrated on the legal aspects. So being here allowed me to diversify that, to enrich my point of view, and take a more interdisciplinary or multidisciplinary approach to my research. Being here allowed me to have a multidisciplinary perspective on my topic. So I think that's very important when I go back to my work, because I'm currently just on sabbatical. So I'll be going back to the Philippines to become a government lawyer. And still a delegate to Unsachal Working Group 3, where the reform efforts are still ongoing in that respect. So I think my experience here would be very valuable in that I would be able to put a fresh perspective, so to speak, a more interdisciplinary approach to how we see things, and maybe focus more on the transnational aspect. Like even if reform efforts will be done, for example, with respect to Philippine treaties, investment treaties, there must be a transnational aspect to it, meaning there must be talks, for example, or we must explore how this could affect also our bilateral relationship with others, our trading partners, for example, our investment partners. So I think my time here brought that to the fore of my consciousness, that there should be that kind of approach when going back to my work as a government lawyer and as an Unsachal representative. Being here in EUI in general, and the SDG and the Policy Leader Fellowship Program in particular, would open a lot of avenues for them. They would be afforded a lot of opportunities to interact with people from different countries, different cultures, different areas of expertise. They would be given the opportunity to engage in or participate in talks, seminars, etc., not just in their particular field of expertise, but in so many other fields. Take advantage of that without losing focus on your work plan. Because at the end of it doesn't mean that your work plan will not be modified along the way. There will be certain circumstances that might motivate you to change your work or modify your work plan, but always keep that in mind, that you're here for a purpose, which is said in your work plan. And it would be nice if you cater your activities along those lines, that it's always nice to have a balance of activities that will help you achieve your work plan, and at the same time, activities that just interest you, even if it's not really related to your field or to your fellowship study. But you should always keep a good balance so that at the end of the program, you can say, hey, I really did what I set out to do. Your cohort will be your family here in Florence. So nurture that. Of course, there should always be time for like academics, doing your research, etc. But it's also important to nurture your relationships with other fellows, other members of the EUI, for example, because you might you would surely meet people here outside of the PLF, or maybe even outside of the STG, who share your same interests, who come from the same cultural background, etc. So it's nice to nurture relationships. They would be your family here in Florence. They would make life easier when you have to deal with some Italian bureaucracy. You have to get your permesso and so on. So yeah, that would keep you sane and grounded while you pursue your research here in EUI.